Can being forgotten by society be a good thing? I don't know. It depends in your own circumstance. We're all different human beings. We handle things differently. We all have strengths and weaknesses. But something like this can be really hard to adapt, or kind of hard to visualize of why this is happening. So let's say in your early times in school, you made loads of friends, and then when you went to high school, where you didn't see your friends again, there was like a completely big disconnection, and you just don't know why, other than just you're moving to a different location. And then you meet the people after years later, let's say 2 years later, they just have no interest of you whatsoever. Or it could be your workplace, where or college, you've made loads of engagements and such. Now everyone has moved on. They either moved to the other side of the country, or if you simply just say hello to them on Facebook, they somehow would just ignore your message, or they'll be like, not really that talkative, like they're not like the same people you used to know. Like, is anyone really interested? So the point of this, when I picked up the phone to make this recording, is being forgotten by society a good thing? It's really not nice when you think about it deeply, but it's not as bad as you think. But it doesn't, obviously this is my opinion, so everyone's got different situations in their life. I don't know what you're going through, so it could be very different. So when I ended up being very alone, I just kept really being stuck by the past. Like, for instance, one of my worst years of my life was 2012, 2015. It's probably because of stuff that happened in school that you could not really move on from, because it was really dramatic. And then when it was 2022, it just felt like those years were just yesterday, because I kept living from the past. Like, everyone was so ahead of themselves in life when I've literally been stuck in the past, because the reason why I lived in a middle of nowhere location, away from social interaction and such, and I couldn't even work on my social anxiety. My life was held back by social anxiety. And when I understood this in 2020, that everyone was so ahead of themselves and I'm literally just someone who's stuck in the past, I felt like I've just been housebounded for years. I'm frozen in time. Like, everyone is ahead of themselves while I'm still stuck in this ice block, focused on the early 2010s. But then I understand that I experience hallucinations. Like, I think about things which are not even happening. When I think about if someone's talking about me or something, it's actually not true. It's just, false negativity in your mind. And you want to fight those hallucinations, right? But you can't, because you have really bad social anxiety. You are afraid to stutter a lot and be very awkward, so you kind of stay back. So back to the point where this is the same point with the about being forgotten from society, because I was pretty much being housebounded. You can, improve yourself, because as you are alone, you've got all of this time for yourself to improve yourself, your personality, your strength, your hobbies, your interests. So you got all this time. So even if you are nobody to those 8 billion people around the world, and you have no friends in real life or hardly any on the internet, because you know, you just have social anxiety, or you're just not a talkative person, or anything, it's totally okay. So what I learned was, when I was trying to battle with anxiety, I realized that some things I used to do when I was younger, when life was actually normal, I would enjoy watching a TV series, or build a Lego playset, making YouTube videos, making any videos or content published online. And I was like, oh yeah, I never done that in like almost 10 years. So I just felt really stupid about it. Like, how could something so simple, but can be very effective, but you've just waited so long for absolutely no reason that could be just dealt with in 5 minutes? So you can focus more on yourself. So build out your portfolio. So let's say I watched loads of anime series, right? Lots of people love anime in this generation, but I have not seen any of them at the time, other than Yu-Gi-Oh! So I've literally just watched loads of series like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, My Hero Academia, or Demon Slayer, and you kind of have this feeling in your mind that you're building a portfolio of yourself, because you're kind of like trying to make yourself human. Also, games that you play. So if you like, I don't know, GTA, or all those popular games you see online, then you kind of building a portfolio yourself. Because imagine one day you meet someone who's into Fortnite, and guess what? I play Fortnite, and then you could be really good friends. It could be something so small like that, like a favorite anime, an anime series, or a Netflix series, or a game that you set and play. You can really impact a friendship in real life. You're just kind of building a portfolio for yourself. Now, hobbies. So this one, I tried to get myself into some things which I had no interest before, but I was like, let's give it a go. So I used to get interested in playing instruments, like a piano, for instance, even though I don't really have a piano. And when we did, it was a electric one. So I know this is not like, you know, everyone's different, but you're, again and again, as I say, you're building a portfolio for yourself of all of the shows that you like, or the games you play, or your hobbies. And when you do all of this, it can really boost your confidence. And even if you're alone and you don't do anything on a daily basis, because as for me, it's just computer, bed, computer, bed, computer, bed in like half my life. Lots of people like underestimate of what loneliness can do to you, other than bringing effects of just, you know, being stuck alone, because there is actually things that you can do that you can't really do when you have friends around. Because, for instance, you spend too much time focusing on, you know, friends and such, right? When you got all this time to, you know, improve yourself, think about your future and such. I've made a self-employment career online, and I'm now earning a living off of it. And it just started as a hobby. And I just couldn't believe it. And my family's very proud of me, and I'm very glad that I don't need to get a job in real life, because I've got my my self-employment, because I don't need to travel to work 7 o'clock in the morning and then come back at 5 o'clock. I can just go to my computer, sign up, just look through my dashboard, and yeah, that's my earnings that you can get in the normal town that I'm in right now. Just yeah. Then I also want to talk about, because people have different upbringings. They could have, like me, I grow up being alone, and other people have been surrounded with people. But then when they reach about 30 years old, that's when life starts to turn around for them, because all the friends that they surround themselves with just randomly disappear, and then they eventually be alone. Because I know one man who was very popular in town, in my town, where I have talked to him many years ago, but don't seem to be talking to me now, because it seems like his Facebook's private and he's not allowing message access to people that's not on his friend list. So he had loads of friends at college. He would just go partying about four days a week, because that's just what he does. Now he's roughly about 29, and he is pretty much alone. He's moved to a new place, many miles away, across England, and he has no friends now. I know there's probably some people talking online, but he doesn't go partying anymore. And then what happened was, when he was 29, and when the partying phase started to die down for him, he had struggles with finance and such, because he didn't have a job. And some of these self-independent things that he should have been doing in his early 20s, he has not come across to it yet, because mostly he spent most of his life growing up just impressing other people, with his new car, his guitar and everything. But he's not focused on himself, because he's always used to being going out all the time, where sometimes it's really important to actually be alone. So therefore you can view yourself easily. You got all this time to figure out yourself. Just look at your future and such, because we live in a world where we compare ourselves to people's success, and then we feel like we are not doing good for ourselves. But as for me, I go for that mindset. I used to be someone who easily gets jealous, because it's like other people have friends and I don't, or they have got a good car and I haven't even done driving before in my life, and then it's just it just gets to you. But you have to remember, this is life. It can happen pretty early. It could happen late. You could start driving in your 20s, or you might start in your 40s. It just depends how you feel. But I feel like loads of people just do things pretty early, so therefore they could fit with society, or fit with other people. Like, if all their friends drive, they should be driving. But for me, I haven't even started driving yet, because I have no reason to, because again, I have no reason to leave the house. I only leave the house just to get food shopping, but that's about it. I don't hang around with people. I don't see people, because I don't have any friends. So I don't have a reason to get a car. And whenever I do have a social life, I will start going to driving school. And what I do in my loneliness free time, I write a list of things that I want to do in my life. And then whenever something that's been accomplished, I would scrap it off the list. So for instance, I want to become a self-employment entrepreneur, where I could run many website domains, whether it's like Etsy, Shopify, and especially Twitch as well. You're kind of like multitasking, doing things yourself in your free time. Because even like, as I said, I only just I go to sleep, then I use the computer, and then I go back to sleep. That's pretty much what I do. And what I do in my free time is multitasking. So, I make t-shirts for Etsy. I keep up with my Shopify store, which has about 200 items, different items in stock. And then I have got my Twitch. So it feels like everything I do on the computer doesn't feel like it's a waste opportunity, because you can get paid from this. But for Twitch, I'm not getting paid from Twitch. I'm only doing this because it feels really pointless just to play a game all by yourself. So why not just stream Twitch? Like, let your viewers watch you. You could be inspiring, even if you feel like you're not. But yeah, it's all about self-improvement. So being forgotten from society, is it a good thing or a bad thing? I won't say it's good or bad, but it can work depending in your own life situation. It can be really hard to just live your life where you're an absolute nobody, to the point that you think that your funeral only has about 4 people that's going to attend, because that's just all the people you have in your life. I already can picture my funeral right now. There's only going to be about 4 people, but you don't know that. You should not underestimate just because your hallucinations just feel like it is. I know people just feel like that way. But it's important to trick the human mind that you could do more than you think. Because I did not know about this, but I had a lot of strength in me. But I've never revealed my potential. Like one day, I've always had social anxiety and such. I was stuttering a lot. I would just small talk. Like, I really didn't want to talk to people. And one day, my dad fell over, and I was the only person around, so I had to call 911 or 111, and I didn't realize that when I was talking to the emergency workers, I didn't even stutter one bit. I was talking with so much confidence, and I was just like, what? I could do this? And it's all about tricking the mind, the human mind, because it tells you things that, oh, you can't do this, you can't talk to this, but you can do it. You just need to. So if you have any problems in your life, go and try and fix it. It could be something like, I don't know, you made a mistake and you want to say sorry to someone, just do it. Or you want to watch a movie or something, but you haven't watched it in months, but for some reason, nothing's stopping you, just go and do it. And then what happens is, when some things in your mind just keep bothering you and you're doing stuff about it, you're kind of unclogging all of the you're removing all the fog in your mind, so you can properly see the stairs. Okay, it's just a staircase covered in fog, and to remove the fog, you need to fix something about yourself, so therefore the fog can go away. Not all the fog can go away. It takes time by time, but if there was like a big problem that's been solved, then there's going to be a chunk of fog gone away. But I do have to admit, I do sometimes have mental breakdowns if my patience is getting too long. So if I keep waiting and waiting for things for too long, I just feel like it's not even possible. It's not possible to wait. You just feel like you're useless, and anything you keep waiting and waiting, if it takes you, you know, to have a social life. It could be days, weeks, months, years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 20 years. Everyone has their own life path. There's people in their 50s and 60s that have never been married and always grow up being alone and actually enjoy being alone. But it's really hard to adapt when you grow up. It's all about tricking the human mind, as I say millions of times. It's all about tricking the human mind. But being alone and being forgotten from society can sometimes be a good thing, because you created a private space for yourself where you could morely focus on what you enjoy doing. And if that one day, because in September, I actually signed myself to go to esports college, which I'm really excited to. So what I'm doing right now is I'm building my portfolio of all the game achievements I got. So therefore, when I turn up in an interview, I have a lot of things to share. But also did some research of how to be really good in a job interview. So they will ask you about strengths and weaknesses. And most importantly, when they do ask you this, do you have any questions? Please be sure to respond back with questions. If you say there's no questions, that's usually a red flag. So always make sure that you show a bit of pride when you are applying for a course and such, because believe it or not, I used to be like this. I mean, before all of this, I just wasn't a talkative person, right? And people would just kind of treat me like an outcast, because everyone was so talkative about everything, and I was just someone who was just very shy, just wanted to sit at the back of the room. Well, just didn't want to sit at the front. I would just rather sit at the back of the classroom. But I want that to change, and I'm the one who has to change myself. The only person who can change you is yourself, and that's what I'm doing. So I got about 6 months of just sleeping and computering. Then in September is the time where I could actually start living as a human being and have my reason to wake up and interact with other human beings. Like, that's just great. I did went to college before, but it didn't work out because obviously I had social anxiety. I didn't make any friends. I did make one friend at the time, but I won't really say he was, because, fun fact, we've been studying together for about 18 months. And after 18 months, he has no idea what my name is. He only just studied the course to get grades. He didn't want to be there for socializing or to make relationships. I don't understand. We've been together for about 18 months, you know, as friends or like classmates, and you have no idea who I am, but yet I know who you are. But yeah, life is just a waiting game. You don't know when your achievements are going to come, but you need to make sure when you want your achievements in your life, you need to do something. You don't wait for miracles. You don't just sit in bed or stay at home to expect, I don't know, 50 grand to just come through the post, or you have got so many friends randomly all of a sudden because you just sit in the front room just watching Netflix. It doesn't work like that. You need to do something to make it happen. And you don't need to make someone to be their friends, because it could just happen randomly all of a sudden. Like, for instance, last year, just about a few months ago. So I met up with a really good person on an online game, which was very unexpected, but what are the odds? So we played a game where we were short of players against the enemy team. And so me and this random player was just like, let's just mess around and just play it seriously. And I was like, okay. And then after that, we started becoming friends, and now we've been talking to each other for over a year. Like, you don't need to ask for friends. It could be just a random occurrence that could somehow turn into a friendship. But friendships do take time. Doesn't happen in seconds. But if you simply just say hello or be a little bit talkative, you can start to build a relationship. You could be starting from acquaintances, you know, strangers to acquaintances to friends or online buddies. But even if you made one friend online, it really brings an impact to you in your life. Even if this person lives on the other side of the world, it does somehow feel like you have got a bit of company, you know what I mean? Someone to talk to, an actual human being. But there's a lot of things you can do on the internet. You can make jobs, you know, self-employment jobs that take time to build. And by the time I join college, I expect to be an entrepreneur, so I could be earning while I'm studying at the college. Then you've got random games to play. Games or watching movies does bring you confidence because it kind of builds a portfolio in yourself. Because imagine someone's talking to you one day and be like, what games do you play? Oh, I don't play any games online. What about movies? No, I don't watch television. I used to be that. I never played games or movies for some reason. I know at the time I had really terrible internet, but I didn't even bother to just watch things on TV. It's probably because TV's boring in general, but then when you look at Netflix and such, or Crunchyroll, it's like, well, there's no ads and you're just in the bedroom just watching a series, and it's actually pretty nice. And I'm like, why did it took me so long to, you know, to watch that? For instance, back around early 2015, there was the SpongeBob movie called Sponge Out of Water. When I was 14, I wanted to watch this. But then I started to watch it in 2023, and you may be thinking, what took you 9 years to finally watch the SpongeBob movie? And that's a good question, because social anxiety holds you back and you don't realize it. Even though if I'm really old for SpongeBob, I was just like, when I saw this on Netflix, I was just like, yeah, let's see it. I was always interested, but I have no idea why I didn't watch it all this time. It's only like the movie's only about an hour and 30 minutes, and somehow it took me 8 years to finally actually watch it. I think that's everything I got to say. I haven't really got anything in my... I think I've said everything I've got to say. There is other discussions that I do want to make a video of, but we'll just leave this for now. But if you have any questions in the comments about loneliness or how to live your life with or without, just let me know. I will be happy to share my experiences with extreme loneliness and isolation. And other than that, I will see you around next time. Peace out.